guys, it's Heather Gill with eXp Realty, and on this episode of Places to Go, People to Know edition, I'm talking to Stephanie Sterling. Stephanie Sterling is an incredible lady I recently met, and she is a self-improvement motivator and an author. Stephanie, thank you so much for being on with me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yay, me too. Super excited. I would love for you to share a little bit about what you do, who you are, a little bit of your origin story. Tell us more. I'm interested in knowing.
Okay, so I was actually born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina. I recently relocated to Dallas, Texas. A part of that was really just wanting to grow, wanting to elevate in all levels of my life. And I know some people like, it's kind of a crazy time because, you're releasing a book but I'm like, there's no better time than now. So I started writing my book about a year ago. And what prompted this is I have dealt with so much. And I know there are a lot of people who have the same struggles as I do because I grew up without a father.
Mm.
And that really took a toll on me when I was younger in
Mm.
high school and things like that. There's a lot of things that I didn't get to experience because I didn't have a father. Wonderful mother, but a single parent can only do so much.
Right.
So my biggest thing was, how can I get my story out?
Mm.
And this was scary for me because I'm a private person. But
Okay.
like at the same time, I know my purpose is to help others through whichever medium that is.
Okay.
And so I felt like getting my story out, writing this book was going to be a way to get to a bigger audience that I cannot do so, by myself or in everyday life. And so just telling my story, letting people know, hey, you're not alone. I
Right.
have been through this. I know the hardships and the traumas of growing up without a parent, whether it's a mother or a father. And,
Right.
some people don't grow up with either parent. And it's like, regardless of what you want to do, guess what? You can still be successful. But
Right.
you have to find healthy outlets and you have to find a healthy way to deal with it. And self-destruction is not the way.
For real. Yeah. Self-destruction is never a good idea. Destruction of any kind is not a good idea. Adding yourself
Right.
in front of it, just like, it's not a good idea at all.
Right. Exactly. So I'm excited.
So you said you started writing this book about a year ago. Was there anything in particular that like prompted you forward with writing it to publish it? Because I'd write stuff. I journal a little bit, so I write stuff down just to kind of get it out of my system and get
Right.
it on paper and get it out of my head, right? So
Right.
what was that moment that made you go, oh, I need to publish this out?
So the funny thing is, I actually had the idea for the book about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And so at that time, all I had was the title, Fatherless Success.
Hmm.
But the place I was in then, I knew I wasn't ready to go back there and go back to that hurtful place that I had already
Hmm.
dealt with.
Right.
And so it's like, do I really want to go there again?
Yeah.
And so that's what took me so long to finally get to this place last year.
Okay.
So then it was sort of like just something in my spirit was just set in my spirit and was like, okay, it's time, Stephanie. And so I just sat down and I got on my computer and I just started typing. And so as I'm typing, I'm, pulling up all these memories, some things that I forgot about, and tears are just rolling down my face.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, we're going to take a break. I'll come back to this in a few days because this is not the place I want to be in today.
Right. Right.
So from there, it just, day after day, I did it chunks and chunks. And eventually it was honestly like a continuous healing process for me, this entire
Okay.
journey. And so during that time, it's like I was able to finally find a deeper place of peace as well.
Okay.
Like I'm finally able to get, because I'm a writer as well. Like I like to journal, I like to write poetry. That's how I get my emotions and feelings out that I
Nice.
feel like I can express to others.
Love it.
After I finally got done, it was like, I can breathe, you know. So that was
Right.
nice, but it was definitely a process. It was definitely a process.
Very good. I love to hear when people write and that they publish. I have aspirations at one point to do a book myself. And it's not as easy as you would think it is. There's a lot that goes into writing a book that people just don't realize. Like I feel like I'm pretty good with grammar, but like editor gets a hold of it and I'm like, holy cow, was I not paying attention in sixth grade when I was doing remember the diagrams,
Right.
whatever, like,
Exactly.
it's like, oh, okay, obviously I was, but it's just kind of funny in my mind.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I love that you've written this book. I love that you've taken that step. I'm really excited to see it when you get it published out. Can you tell us more about when it's going to hit the shelves and be available?
Yes, so it will be releasing Saturday, June 19th.
Okay.
It will be on Amazon, Kindle, Google Play, and as well as Audible.
Nice. So you got it. So you already got it ready for Audible. That's awesome.
Yes, yes. That was a fun journey too.
So were you able to get James Earl Jones to do the voice for the? No, I'm just kidding. That would be super cool.
Unfortunately, I wasn't, but I did get a phenomenal guy. He actually resides in Florida.
Okay.
And when I tell you, so they have to do a sample piece. So I went through the self-publishing route.
Okay.
And when you do Audible, you have to use their back office, which is called ACX.
Okay.
And what happens is you upload like a sample script.
Okay.
People submit like 2-minute samples to see, okay, who do I think is going to be a good fit? And so you go through them, and then once you choose somebody, everything is done through the back office. You make an offer. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
This guy had me in tears just listening.
Really?
Yes. His energy.
Okay.
It brings my whole story to life. I love it.
So I have probably 70 books in my Audible account. I list because I'm driving a lot as a realtor, right? I'm in my car showing homes, and I'll put in like some kind of book I want to hear. So that's really cool. So I didn't know that. So you actually just go through Audible and they help you find somebody to read it. Well, this makes me even more excited to listen or read your book. I'm very, very, very excited about it. So you said June 19th, right? June 19th is the launch. Okay, launch date is June 19th. And I think in conversation you mentioned you're going to do a big launch party in South Carolina first, right? You're going back home for that?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. And then do you have anything scheduled locally here in the Dallas area for your launch?
Not as of yet.
Not yet? Okay.
In the works.
Okay, please invite me. I would love to be a VIP at that event.
Okay, absolutely. Yes. You're
awesome.
Already on my VIP list.
Yay. Oh, I'm digging it. That's going to be awesome. Well, very good. I would love, Stephanie, to transition. I would love to ask you the bonus question. You ready?
Yeah.
These are always good. These are always fun. I got to know, what is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure. That's a good question. My guilty pleasure. Ooh. Okay, this is probably going to sound bad. So one thing about me is I am, I can be a very friendly person. That's who I am. I'm friendly, upbeat, energetic. I love helping people. I'm just, whenever I can give back, that's what I do. But you sometimes come across people, and even people in your life, family or friends, who have a tendency to try to cross the line or make you feel some type of way. And so my little guilty pleasure is, I wouldn't call it revenge, but when somebody does something sometimes like it's close to me that I don't like, instead of getting them back then or saying something about it then, I let it slide, and then I wait like 2 months, and then I do something, and they're like, why did she do that to me? Why did she?
That's funny. So you kind of sneak it in later, like, got you back.
Right, exactly. So that's my guilty pleasure. And I think it's hilarious.
That is fun. And they're like, what? No, that's funny. Mm-hmm. That's very comical.
You got to be careful what you do to people.
Don't cross Stephanie. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, so that's my guilty pleasure.
That's funny. I love it. So I would love for you to share some words of wisdom with the audience. Is there anything in particular maybe that speaks or resonates with you that you can share with us?
Honestly, the biggest thing for me is loving yourself. Self-love is the key.
Okay.
I had to learn that along my journey, not only with the absence of my father, but I was in a 5-year relationship that didn't go so well. And being with that person, I lost myself. And the thing about me, I've always known who I am, what I want. But when you get involved with somebody, or when you get involved with people, or allow people in your circle who is lost, they can sometimes derail you. Then you're looking back like, how did I get to this place?
Right.
So my advice would be always love yourself first. Because we cannot be who we need to be to others until we fully embrace who we are and what we want out of life. So just keep that in mind.
For real. Yeah, I mean, the Bible says basically that idea, right? You know, love others as you love yourself, right?
Love
so self-love comes first. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That if you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So good. I love it, Stephanie. This is great. Now, if y'all want to know more about Stephanie Sterling, you can definitely check her out. Her website is theauthenticstephaniesterling.com. You can also find her on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and you just look her up at The Authentic Stephanie Sterling. Stephanie, I so much appreciate your time today, and I cannot wait for your book launch. Super excited for you.
Thank you. And Heather, I appreciate you inviting me to your show. This has been fun.
Yay.
You know, you are just helping me along the way and set myself up for my audience in bigger and better ways. So I appreciate that.
Yay. Love it. Well, awesome, Stephanie. You have an awesome day.
Thank you. Same to you.